Hello, I'm Dennis Velko with OutBüro.com and our OutBüro on LinkedIn group, where we have over 46,000 global LGBT professionals participating in a very active forum there in a LinkedIn group. Hopefully you have already seen maybe at least one or two of the explainer videos. First was for the employees, which of course employers may also want to take a look at, and that is the overview of the current state of the reviews. And then the second, which I'll be linking to down here on the posting and also probably on YouTube, provide a link, is the video to that just prior to this that kind of describes the intent, a little bit of the history, a little bit, the intent, the whys, and so forth. Why OutBüro? Why the employer listings? Well, the employer listings, but then the employer reviews from the employees, and why that's so important, as I believe it's so important. And just to briefly recap, that was about a 45-minute video, so I'm not going to obviously go into everything there. We have a lot to cover here, but the current indexes out there that give corporations ratings on their LGBT friendliness. Again, happy to be corrected, but to my knowledge, are all focused on the Fortune 1000, and for some that are more country based, like New Zealand and the UK, they do get into smaller companies as well. It's the largest employers of that region. But just again, looking here in the United States, where very much appreciate all the hard work of all the organizations that have been working with those large companies to implement LGBT friendly policies and benefits and working practices and work culture and so forth. I know personally how difficult creating change can be. So very much appreciate all of that hard work that has been done to date, and that will continue to be done. OutBüro is not trying to replace. We're trying to augment. Might it be a little bit of an overlap, for an organization or two? Yes. However, if those organizations are open-minded and see us for what we're trying to do, and I say we, it's in a royal sense, what I'm trying to do right now, is I'm also providing those organizations the opportunity to earn money, both directly through the ambassador program, and as soon as we hit profitability, well, prior to us hitting profitability, but we will be doing a OutBüro giving fund, and providing a very generous portion of any profits that we encounter to organizations that are promoting LGBT equality in the workspace, and at all levels of employers, and organizations that are promoting and just LGBT services, like for the elder, for youth, and so forth. But we obviously want to give a strong support for those organizations out there who are also promoting workplace equality. So just want everyone to be clear of that. In that is the next video will be on the ambassador program, so I'm not going to go heavily into that. There's already an article on the website. You can find that on the right hand panel. It'll remain there for you. So as I indicated as well in the last video, as I go through this, and we'll talk about each point, each current data element on the current employee listing, is I want to be clear is that you are evolving as an organization of whatever type of organization you are, whether you're a corporation, a large corporation, a small business, medium-sized business, a university, a nonprofit, not focusing on the LGBT community, but other great social benefits. Whether you're an LGBT chamber of commerce, an LGBT community center, or again, any other nonprofit focusing also on the LGBT space and so forth, an independent entrepreneur and all of that is OutBüro is for you. Because even if you're a nonprofit, you have likely a few staff, if not hundreds of staff, some of you. So those staff people can rate you. You also have board members who can rate you. You have contractors, and this is for everybody, also everybody, 1099 contractors and so forth. And for nonprofits and so forth, you have volunteers. And so volunteers can also, rate you, even if it's just an event base. And as I mentioned in my last video, there's already one here. So hope you will see benefit in what we're trying to do here, and that is creating a consolidated platform where you can put your best foot forward in a proactive manner on your LGBT employer branding. So like right now, if I were to go out and Google some of these corporations, like I happen to be using Prudential. Thumbs up to you, Prudential, because you sponsor some of my buddies at Debt Free Guys at debtfreeguys.com. So much appreciate you supporting that LGBT owned business. And Debt Free Guys is a finance blog, a personal finance blog focusing on the LGBT community. And over the last couple of years, they've become good friends of mine, and using them as an example, and that is why Prudential, I have chosen you to, although you've not claimed your listing yet, so hopefully you will do so soon. And perhaps Debt Free Guys will be an ambassador and help get you on board. But I use that particular record. So anyone out there, if you'd like to see, about 90% of the functionality of an employer listing, check out the Prudential listing there, because there are images, there's YouTube video, general video, and employee kind of testimonials and so forth. So I might reference them, and I'll reference possibly a few other companies as I get to them. So let's jump forward and just move right ahead, okay? So one of the so I thrive on change. If I'm not changing, I am literally dead. So, and you as a company have to, and an organization have to constantly change as well. You have to keep up with technology. You have to keep up with staff changes and so forth like that. If you're not adapting to change, you will die in some capacity. So, keeping that in mind, realizing OutBüro, although I've built and have moderated the LinkedIn group with the 46,000 global members now for 11 years. OutBüro has had a bit of a slow start just due to personal things going on in my life, etc. And but also have gotten over a technical issue where I had to bring in a developer, a real developer, to help me get over some technical issues. And once we did that, about 2.5 months ago, as of the taping, recording of this, how old school. So as of the recording this, it was about 2.5, almost 3 months ago. And once that was resolved, I've been working, oh my God, on average, I'll say 12 hours a day. One day was literally 18 hours, outside of 3 to 4 times of, eating for 15 minutes and so forth. it was straight on. And that was like a 12-hour day, an 18-hour day, 5 hours sleep, followed by another 12-hour day with 4 hours sleep, followed by another 10-hour day. And by the time that Sunday came around, oh my God, I slept 13 hours straight. So, you know, I have been working very, very hard and diligently. I have put my personal finances here, as I indicated in one of the other videos. You know, one of the first questions a venture capitalist, if being approached and seriously considering investing into a, you know, a startup, one of the first questions they're going to ask is, you know, did the founders put in their own personal money and possibly their life savings? And here is the absolute answer: yes. And I have currently a GoFundMe campaign out there. You know, I'd rather have all of you just sign up. Then I don't need the GoFundMe campaign, right? If just a few, you know, if just 2 or 3 of you large corporations over 30,000 would sign up today, boom, I'm good. I'm good. I won't go into all my personal finances, but I personally don't need a lot of money. I have very low cost of living, and everything, all of my time and all of my energy and all of my focus and all of my funds are going into this. What I do need is I need to bring on some additional staff people, and in order to grow this, in order to do things that are repetitive and you know, and so forth. So know that I would value your constructive feedback. So, you know, if there are things that you're doing that I don't have on here yet to capture and you would like to convey, let me know. Would love to add it. I want you to shine. I want you to put every little piece of LGBT Pro information that you possibly can, because I want your organization to have this consolidated view where any and everyone can go to and see in one place all of the great things that you are doing, because right now most companies don't put it all on their website. It comes out in various press releases here or there, or on a Facebook posting, and you know, your employee resource group might post something and on their page, on the Facebook page. But you know, for an employee, a potential employee, a prospective candidate who is researching, wanting to possibly work for your organization, you know, they have to do a lot of sleuthing currently in order to find out what a fantastic organization you are. So OutBüro is a solution for that. We are your LGBT employer branding platform. In addition, we have, of course, the employee reviews, and as I've noted in the last videos, I'm going to say it here, and then I promise I'm going to get into the features, it's a timely response and feedback mechanism, because you know, I'll use the same simple math as I did in my last example. Let's say you're an organization of 100,000 people, and for simplicity, that 10% of your organization, whether they're out or not, identify as LGBTQ. All right, so that's 10,000 potential reviewers of your organization. Now, when each person starts their first review, they get on their own timeline where every 4 months they can re-review you. So as you are starting initiatives, improving your work culture, or maybe you have a slip up that you then need to recover from and so forth, you have the opportunity of those 10,000 employees on their own individual timelines to be reviewing you every 4 months. And as soon as they hit submit, bam, it's live. It's already part of the process. So you're not having to wait. You're not having to wait a whole year to get a particular score, which does not currently involve employees. I am not aware of any corporate equality, scoring entity out there that takes employees' voice into account. So I'm going to talk a little bit for example, there's organizations again that of all sizes. So again, in just the United States, the Fortune 1000 employ approximately 8% of the population. So so the other 2% of the employees, and probably that reflects nearly 99% of the companies and organizations out there, because again, government, universities, and nonprofits and so forth wouldn't fall into that, corporate equality index. So OutBüro is for any type of company, any legal entity type, any size of company, anywhere in the world. I'm going to draw your attention to the pricing model, in the sense it is a annual subscription base. So when you claim and or add your listing as an authorized person, it is priced based on the size of the total employee base of your organization, of that legal entity. And I'll get into franchises here in just a little bit as we talk about features, because I need to move it on. But it's very affordable when you look at a small company of just under 20 employees. The annual subscription is under $30 a year, and you get the same features and functionalities that a company of 200,000 people get. So I mean, it's very affordable. And I will put a plug in here that if you didn't know this, any company could pay LinkedIn's marketing platform to select my group of 46,000 global LGBT people that I have worked hard to build. LinkedIn didn't do it, I did. But you can actually select that and send them one marketing email, 50 cents per person. Okay, without negotiating, it's 50 cents per person. So for you to send my 46,000 LGBT professionals one marketing email will cost you in the neighborhood of $23,000. Even for the largest of organizations, we're a fraction of that. Yet you get so much more, including being able to market to all those 46,000 as you cross-promote and cross-pollinate your content that you post with us. So one thing that I'd like to point out is, here recently, as of the recording of this, Fabrice, if you don't know of him, Fabrice Hollart, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, he is a human rights officer at the United Nations. Major corporations get his advice on how to roll out LGBT equality on a global level. The guy, I mean, the documents from the United Nations on corporate LGBT equality, he's co-author of. He's been a member of my LGBT group on LinkedIn for a little while, and I recently posted, some of the new features and so forth that I had just released, and he made a fantastic comment. I was so appreciative of it, and he said this, meaning OutBüro, is fascinating and much more aligned with the UN's global LGBTI standards for business than most indexes. Most. Yeah. I think all. And so, we've just begun. Again, I want your feedback. Of course, I'll come up with ideas and as I get feedback from other places. But as I'm going through these features, know if there's something that you would like to possibly see tweaked, added, or, honed, let me know. So let's get over to it, and I do have my laptop and tablet form here for review. So as I look down, I have it large enough so I can see it without my glasses on. First and foremost on your employer listing is it says this title. That is the name of your company. If you're someone like Hewlett Packard, please put Hewlett-Packard-HP or HP-Hewlett-Packard. You know, if you're known by two common forms, please go ahead and put like a dash and the second form that you're known by. That's just so as people are searching for your organization that, you know, they can find you. Because in that particular example, if you just put Hewlett-Packard, you know, if someone puts in HP, they might not find it unless it's in part of the text too. So just play it safe and put both in that area if that is pertinent to you. Next is the logo. And you know, this obviously is your company logo. You need to make it of decent size. It can be of any size, but you know, in at least the 500 pixel wide range is pretty good. I do there have some file naming requests. It's not mandatory, but you know, if you do use the file naming conventions that I have indicated, it just helps with search engine optimization. You know, keywords there, would appreciate that. Next is your main website. You know, simple. You should know what that is. Following is the legal type. So here is currently, I don't think there's any other legal forms, but you know, if there are, obviously I can add. But you know, it's a public company, a private company, a subsidiary. So you have two different legal entities, the parent company and the subsidiary. So you'd have, for example, Microsoft and LinkedIn. LinkedIn would note Microsoft as its parent company, and LinkedIn would note itself as a subsidiary. Branch or franchise. So, you know, this is kind of like, most of you should know what that is. You know, most McDonald's are franchises. You know, whatever out there, Chick-fil-A's are mostly franchises and so forth, and I'm going to talk about them here in a little bit. Sole proprietor. Now, you know, you have the choice as a company private or a sole proprietor. Really, it's your legal form. You know, you could be one person but still an LLC, so you'd be a company private. You know, if you're not incorporated but doing business, you know, as, you know, homemade basket weaving or something like that, you know, you might want to indicate, you know, sole proprietor, whatever. Government at all level. Again, that is, you know, city or town and, you know, so forth, county or region, state or province. Then you have national or federal level government. So if you are some type of government entity, please indicate that, and then we'll specify further over in the categories and tags, you know, what exactly you are. A college or university, go ahead. I might go ahead and change that to, you know, kind of any educational entity. You know, like a Sylvan Learning Center or something, I don't know. We'll see, I need to think about that. But most definitely college and universities, like I've already have, you know, where I went to school, Ohio State. I have a buddy, you know, went to Stanford, so I've already added them. Also, I've been trying to add organizations early on here to the site to show the breadth of, you know, what is possible. So, not trying to pick on anyone, I'm just trying to show what's possible, the intent of the site. Nonprofits, here I specify also LGBTQ nonprofit. It isn't like here there's a great nonprofit locally. It happens to be owned and ran or founded and ran all by, you know, gay and lesbian people, but their focus is, you know, helping the children of Haiti. Well, that's not an LGBTQ nonprofit because it's not their focus. So just kind of, I'll try to word that to be more clear, but it's what the focus is on. So a general nonprofit or an LGBT community focused nonprofit. Next one is the parent organizations or company. So if this is one entity and you report, under a legal structure to another entity, please indicate that here. If need be, add them as an employee for free. That'll have very limited features. It won't have everything that we're discussing here. It'll have about 20% of the features because it is for free. But then that'll still allow you to then add them as the organization. And of course, we'd love for you to contact them and hopefully see the value and get them to go ahead and claim their listing that you've created, the initial one on their behalf. Okay, you're established, kind of, simple. When did this organization, the legal entity of this organization get founded? Sales volume, the company's net value, and so forth. And I ask for that not because I'm nosy, but it's more about kind of understanding when we get into doing some reporting and statistics and so forth. And pardon me while this is like itching me right here. The area code. Now this, you're going to put your whole phone number down below. You put your area code or your country code, so if it's, I think the UK is 31 and France is 44, if I'm not mistaken off the top of my head, but if it is put a country code, the plus symbol in the country code here, or your area code. And that is simply, it's another search criteria because, for example, you could live in a large metro area where there are multiple area codes. And so people might want to search by zip code, by area code, distance from, and all that kind of stuff. It's just one more search criteria. It's nothing more than that. Going down the left-hand column there is this organization LGBTQ owned business or organization? So you could be a nonprofit for like that, the Renowned Foundation for, helping children in Haiti. They can indicate that they're a general nonprofit, but here indicate that they're LGBTQ owned, and operated. So, boom, boom, boom. Certified LGBTQ business or organization. And here in the United States, we have the National Chamber of Commerce that does perform certifications for that. And there's lots of benefits to that. I'm not going to get into that here. Just indicate yes, no, or unknown. The following is veteran owned. I'm a U.S. vet. Again, it's about statistics here, wanting to know that. Okay, scrolling back up in that particular section, the top executive name, whatever the executive is, whether that's the CEO, executive director, chief of whatever, editor-in-chief, whatever that person is, we'd like their name and their title. And then also, if they have a profile on LinkedIn, please provide that URL to their LinkedIn profile. Then we get down into total number of employees. Now that is within the legal entity. So for example, if you're a franchise, you're only really responsible for the total people within the actual corporate structure of that legal entity. Not wanting here all the number of people throughout the entire franchise system. That would skew things because each franchise could have their own record. And I'm going to talk, talk a little bit later and give a Chick-fil-A as an example as to why that's important. So here, per your legal structure, how many people are there? And let's just use, like, for example, there's a rating on here for Sanofi, the French pharmaceutical company. Well, they have their French-based legal entity, and then they have a U.S. legal entity. There, I guess it would depend on how they would like their ratings to go. Because when you do a parent, I'll go ahead and talk about it. When you have the parent organization and you have the franchise or the subsidiaries, okay, each of the subsidiaries will have depends on how you want to do it, but it's set up to where each legal entity, such as Sanofi US, could have their own rating, and then Sanofi Corporate, that's based in France, could have its rating. However, the subsidiaries and or the franchises roll up to the rating of the parent organization. So it can benefit and it can, not. It will depend. But if need be, we can talk more about that. I don't want to slow down too much on that right here. But okay. Next one is diversity in management. So within this legal entity, as we've already described it, I'm not going to beat that description to death. So just know that that's what I'm talking about as we move forward. So diversity in management over all types of diversity. So people of color, women, Native American, veterans, people with disabilities, etc. How your organization defines diversity, how many of all your total employees, how many total, even including LGBTQ, how many are diversity in positions of management, whatever levels of management you define that as. The next question is then, of that number, how many are specifically identified as out LGBTQ? Okay, simple. Lots of studies on when people are out, at work in positions of management, that creates a more open and welcoming space for people throughout the entire organization. I already talked about that in the other video, so I'm not going to go much further on that. Next is of the LGBTQ people in management number, what is the title of the highest level person? Who is that? Well, for Apple, it'd be the CEO, right? So you would put title, CEO, and then here a link to that person's profile, whatever that is. It could be the manager of customer service, whoever that is. The highest level person, what is their title? And please link to, if they have a LinkedIn profile, and they should, and hopefully in my group, please link to their profile here. Next, getting down to LGBTQ proactive recruiting, or active recruiting, however you'd like to find it. First is to link to your company job board. If your company does not have its own, in-house hosted whatever on your website job board, just indicate here where you post your primary place and where you post open jobs. Where can people go to look at jobs that you're posting when you have openings? Simple as that, whether it's your website or a third-party website, okay? Next is, do you actively seek to recruit LGBTQ people? Yes, no, unknown. Simple. After that is, if you do indicate that you do actively recruit LGBT candidates, socially prove it. Show me. Just don't tell me. Show me. You're going to hear that a lot. We're about social proofing. And that's benefit for you, because then people are going to see I'm not just saying it or someone's just not reporting upon it. I'm telling you I do it, and I'm showing you how I do it. And here's how you simply find it. Right here. Here's a link. Yay! Awesome. Okay, so give me some links. You can put up to 20 showing where and how you socially promote. So if you are participating in a career fair, with the Los Angeles, and the New York, both the Los Angeles and the New York and the Miami, Pride centers, or, LGBT community centers, then great, wonderful, thank you. Provide a link to that, showing that you're doing that, okay? That's what we're looking for. and or any online marketing that you have on your own website or again, third-party sites. Another is video testimonies of LGBTQ employees. It is simple as sitting your employees down with a smartphone in front of them and asking them questions. It does not, I'm using my iPhone right here, okay? Not bad production, not bad sound. I'm not even using a mic. So, get some decent lighting, throw on some good color contrast, make it look good as best you can, but it doesn't have to involve some, huge production and expenses of, some production. Don't let a queen do it or it will get there, Just pull out some decent lighting, put some in a quiet room, have some people come in, throw up your, on a stand, throw up your iPhone or your Android phone and just start and asking them questions and so forth. Give it some thought, but it doesn't have to be a huge production. Those things can be popped out like that and on a regular basis. So take advantage of it. OutBüro is your place to shine. You just have to do a little bit of work to do it, okay? Let's move on. Who sponsors us? Now, this could be for any size of organization, but who sponsors us? This is your opportunity to say thank you and also acknowledge that organization. So again, getting back to the debt-free guys, my buddies, they can indicate here that Prudential is one of their sponsors. So, that's how that is used. And then Prudential on their listing can say that they sponsor debt-free guys. It's a cross-pollination and cross-validation opportunity here. The next question is for any size organization really, but are you as an organization seeking funding? And if so, what kind of funding are you seeking? Are you seeking grants, angel investor, donations, sponsorship, venture capital, in-kind services, a loan? Pardon me, or other. And if there's other kind of, funding out there that you're seeking, let me know. I can quickly add it. Your funding amount goal. So whether it's in kind or whatever, is there a particular, US dollar figure that you're, have in mind that you are seeking? Next would be a description of the funding that you're seeking. So talk about how that funding will be used, how it'll impact your organization, how it will impact your services and service offerings, current or future planned, how will it impact the your customers, your clients, your membership base, etc. Just if someone is looking, if a company is looking to to sponsor a small business in the LGBT space or whatever, you want this to be without giving away secret sauce. You want them to be able to say, oh wow, this sounds amazing. I see what they're doing. I've checked out their website. They're looking for this kind of funding to do blah 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 blah. OMG, they're amazing. I'm going to contact them today. Right? That's what you want. So think about that. Also, of course, here you can put links to your website and so forth. As that's the next thing. You can add links here. You can also add files. So again, don't give away, if you're a small business, don't upload your entire marketing a plan, your entire business plan, summarize it. Again, don't give away your secret sauce that someone else could, take and replicate and all of that good stuff. But it supports PDFs, Word documents, and LibreOffice. Hello, I love LibreOffice. I've been using it for years. Sorry, Microsoft. Moving on, our political donations. All right. So I've broken this, sorry, thoughts go through my head. So on political donations right now, I have it broken down based on, government, based on the US system. Starts off on national federal level. So also on the left-hand column, you indicate yes, no, or unknown for each, whether you donate, or contribute to pro-LGBT politicians or anti-LGBT politicians. And that's going to be for everyone. And then for each of those pro or anti, you indicate the amount total across all politicians at that level that you donated to. So for example, AT&T, there are several, right? But I'm going to use you for an example. Sorry, AT&T. But AT&T in 2018 donated over $2.5 million to, according to my knowledge, just U.S. congressmen. Wow. That's a boatload of money to just U.S. congressmen. Could you imagine the amount of money that they also, contributed as we go down to state politicians and local politicians? All right, AT&T, I'm not going to beat you up here, and I'm going to explain why, okay? I'm going to use you as an example, but I'm not beating you up, I swear. So on each level, you have the opportunity to explain yourself, right? So I'm going to, again, going with the whole AT&T theme on this particular topic, not to mention UPS and FedEx and some of the others. I know why. Because those politicians are in positions of influence and power for things that you need to have accomplished in order to continue to grow your business. Simple as that. I get it. They just happen to be holes, in my opinion. All right? But as I indicated in our last video, sometimes you have to do business or grease the palms of politicians, unfortunately, in our system of bureaucracy by the dollar. When you have money, you get things accomplished. So I get it, AT&T. You had to give that money to those anti-LGBT politicians in order to get things passed through, laws passed, laws ignored, so you could conduct your business. I get it. And if those things don't happen, you don't make as much money, you can't employ as many people, and so forth. All right? Totally get it. But that is why there is the pro-LGBT politicians and the anti-politicians right next to each other. For me personally, again, I understand why you got to do what you got to do. I totally do. For me, I'm personally looking for, are you balanced? Right? Left. Right? Left. Are you balanced? If you have to even chew the inside of your mouth while you're handing that money over because you have to, what else are you doing to kind of balance that? Okay? And when you have a whole picture here in a total picture of what you're doing with your OutBüro record and showing your total branding as an LGBT employer, LGBT proactive organization, showing that proactively is, in my opinion, would be important. Now, here's what I would suggest moving forward, is you utilize OutBüro's platform to get ahead of the conversation. When national entities and journalists, find out after the fact that, these donations and so forth happened, and they have the opportunity to go, look at you, what a horrible corporation you are. You donated to anti-LGBT politicians, you suck. Well, get ahead of the frickin' conversation right here on OutBureau. Go ahead, list it proactively as soon as you know you've made those contributions. Right here, make your statement. Why is it important to the organization? Be factual. Because this person holds this position of power and influence, and it is critical to the continued mission of this organization because we are expanding in these markets, and whatever it happens to be. Make a proactive statement right here, because when those other journalists and organizations come after you, you can say, oh, hello, yeah, I know, and we've already made our statement on OutBureau.com, and look at everything that we're doing. We are a fair and balanced. We had to do what we had to do, and we stated why, and we stated what we're doing overall for the entire community. Okay, so I'm not going to beat that anymore. I just thought that was very important to say. I get it. It's okay. Just be balanced in what you do. All right. Let's move on. So I'm gonna blow past, local, state, all of that stuff. Community support. This is, again, do you sponsor LGBT nonprofits? Yes, no, unknown. Do you sponsor LGBT-owned businesses? Like my buddies, Prudential does the debt-free guys. What's the dollar amount? You can be general. You don't have to say specifically, that, but in the ballpark, give us an idea. And this will go collectively across all of them. So you're not necessarily saying, so if you sponsor, 10 LGBT businesses and nonprofits, you're giving a figure for nonprofits, you're giving a figure for this. So we're not going to know how much each one got. Okay. It's none of our particular business. We just want to know, who are you sponsoring, and generally, how much money does that equate to? Then we go down into social proof it. So link to those not only say and indicate their OutBureau record, and again, add them if they don't exist as an employee, then get them to claim their listing hopefully to make it robust. But then you can social proof it as well. So on the debt-free guys, they have it on their website. So Prudential can, link to the page on the debt-free guys website to show it. All right. That's what that's for. Social proof. Moving down, funding available. So earlier it was I'm seeking funding, and here is I have funding. So if you are an organization that has funds available to donate or services that you're able to provide in kind, grants, sponsorships, loans, angel investments, venture capital and scholarships for students, or additional learning, adult learning, or whatever that kind of scholarship that might be. Then provide a description of whatever that funding that you have, and your ideal organization, or your ideal receiver. Give us a description of both. Let's get into the LGBTQ marketing, and this is does your organization specifically target the LGBT community in your marketing, and here I want to be very clear is, if you are Palmolive, or Johnson and Johnson, I'm not, this isn't about, every commercial is, gay couples holding hands, all right? Percentile wise, we're not 100%. Now, if your focus is 100% on the LGBT community, then obviously your marketing is likely 100%. But if you're a general corporation with, everyone is your potential customer, this is just looking for, does your company market in percentage wise, is it representing the LGBT community appropriately? You also indicate which months. So if your organization is just rolling out the rainbow flag in June and you do absolutely nothing else for the LGBT community, hey, indicate that here. Be honest, because Believe me, the journalists will rip you apart if you're not. This Out Bureau is your opportunity for your branding and your honesty. You know, it's better just to be upfront about it. Is we're growing. This is new. This is the first time we've done this. We're evolving and we're trying to become better. But we have to start somewhere, right? Okay, be honest about it, right? It's all good. Social proof it. Social proof your marketing. You know, if you have videos, commercials, and so forth out there on Vimeo or YouTube, link to it. If there's third-party sites that you can link to show it, great. If you have marketing collateral on PDF form or so forth, great. Link to it or upload it. This is your opportunity to show your marketing to the community as a whole. And if you go back to the review section for the employees, your employees actually can rate you on your corporate LGBT inclusive marketing. So it won't go unnoticed. LGBT employer attributes. Do you have all of these? All of these are yes, no, unknown, and then show me, prove it. Okay? For all of these. Show me, prove it in the sense of link to it on your website where you have these. Just don't tell me, show me. So just don't tell me you have a sexual orientation non-disclosure policy. Show me, where is it? You know, I mean, that's no trade secret, come on. You know, that's not proprietary or whatever. Wouldn't you rather be open and honest about it? And here's the PDF of it. Or, you know, here is our EEO statement and so forth. You know, that's all. I mean, even if you don't link to the exact document, which again should be no secret, and if you have it, you should want to show it, and that's what would be preferred. But you know, we'll see how you all respond to these as we move forward, and if you have ideas and so forth, you know, great. But sexual orientation, non-discrimination policies. Then again, a link, gender identity, and again, a link, domestic partner benefits, and a link, transgender inclusive benefits, and of course, you know, a link. Then getting up to, on the other side, LGBT resource group. Do you have an employee resource group? You know, yes, and or link to it, and then LGBT culture links. Now that again would be linking to a resource, a page showing that you have that employee group. If it's not on your website, do they have a Facebook page? You know, how do we know you actually really have one is what we're getting at. Again, socially prove it. Getting into LGBTQ inclusive training, whether that is in-house provided or externally provided, you know, give us a link indicating that you actually do that. And perhaps even, you know, what that entails, like a course outline or something like that. Okay, or maybe even a video of the person conducting the training. That would be awesome. Good idea. Okay. Do you support LGBTQ equality globally? Now, you know, if you're a company of, you know, like the Mexican baker I've used in my last, you know, things, you're 12, 13 employees, you know, you can say, no, you know, we're not global. All right. If you're not a global company, just simply indicate we're not global here. Otherwise, yes, no, or unknown. Publicly supports LGBTQ equality. That could be a corporation or entity of any size. Community involvement. Now here we break it down to local involvement, regional, national, and global. Depending on the geographic spread of your organization, you know, indicate whatever is appropriate. And, you know, if you are a global entity, hopefully you're completing all of those. But if you're just a little local Mexican baker, you know, then indicate just the local. You know, it's not a bad thing that you're not doing something in France or India when you only have a bakery in Clearwater, Florida, okay? So, you know, make it make sense. Then there's an opportunity for you to do a description. as well. And in there, for example, there's a small company that's, based in New York. There are only 3 people. They do consulting for small businesses. They're on the website now, and they participate in the local LGBT Chamber of Commerce. One, they could link to the LGBT Chamber of Commerce, but then here, textually say that, hey, I've been the board president for 3 years or whatever. Whatever that happens to be. Listing description, that is a description of your company, your services, your products. You could use this to talk more about your LGBT inclusiveness, your diversity inclusion program. It's really, up to you, but do try to give, kind of an overview of the company as well. And if you include things specifically about, your LGBT inclusiveness and other things, awesome. This does have a little bit of a text formatting tool, so you can bullet things, number thing, do a number column. You can add graphics. You can even do a tweet me in here. So if you'd like to add a little special quote that you would like people to possibly click and tweet from your profile, you can do that here. You can add additional links and so forth. So it's limited, but there is a bit of formatting that you can do. Your location, now this would be the corporate headquarters for the company, the legal entity that we talked about earlier. And then we'd like the headquarters general switchboard phone number, whatever that is. Not your customer service number, your actual general number. That way, if someone wants to contact you and they want your HR department, the person will just route them. Or if they want your press department, they'll route them. Okay, most people coming here will be looking for jobs and are going to see your job board. But this is your general corporate number. Fax number, if you still use faxes. Who does? Okay, but we included it. I wanted to hear. I might add like little bird sounds to that little, corporate general email address, if you so choose. Social accounts, there's Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Pinterest, Tumblr, your LinkedIn corporate profile, Flickr, YouTube, etc. Okay, so there's several potential social media accounts that you can add there, and I recommend adding whatever you do have. Then we get into company contacts, and this is, if I and my team as it grows needs to get a hold of you, this is not going to be public. These contacts will not be public facing on the website. They are for me and us. Who do we contact? If there is a review that says, tomorrow I'm going to go in with a machine gun and kill everybody, I need to know who to contact outside of the police. Okay, I would love to be able to say, OMG, bam, I need to contact the HR person and, this person and this person, who. Or if there's a major problem with one of the reviews that, I'm going, OMG, this sounds absolutely horrific. Is this, real? I would like to have your contact information for the head person in HR to be able to reach out to you. The Global Diversity and Inclusion Director, whoever that is. I mean, if you're a small company, all this might be one person, but if you are an AT&T or a Cisco or an Intel of the world or a Microsoft of the world, okay, these are probably going to be different people. Also would like, who is kind of your lead LGBT person in your company? Preferably not in the HR department. Maybe if you have an employee resource group, maybe it's the lead person of that, but it's someone, if there is a review that causes concern outside of the HR and so forth, this would be a LGBT person that we could contact and just, chat. What's the dealio? Okay? So please provide those, would be greatly appreciated. The following is additional images. And in those you had some, like, again, you could add videos of employee testimonials and so forth, video links to marketing. And so down here at the very bottom is your opportunity to add more photos, make it pretty, make it pop. All right, you can add up to 20 more photos, and I think it's up to 20 videos in addition to the other areas where you've had. So you could have lots of images and videos and so forth going on your record. Okay, so that is it as it is today in a nutshell. Again, if you have any ideas as you go through and you complete this, if you have other ways in which that you would like to show that you are an inclusive and welcoming space for your employees as well as your customers, because your customers will also likely see this as they do reviews, as they search, reviews, Verizon review. This may pop up. So your actual customers may see this too. Utilizing this as a marketing branding platform focused on your LGBT community, but also realizing that, your general customer, will see this too. You need to keep that in your mind. And again, be proactive, and we are here to help you shine. I am here to help you shine. I want you to be successful. I want your employees to be happy with where you work. So if there are problems, I'll do what I can to help you out. And, if you need assistance, there's great organizations that I can refer you to. I'm continuously building a kind of a Rolodex, to use an old term, of diversity inclusion consultants who do focus on the LGBT community in addition to, the whole diversity inclusion space, but they do happen to be LGBTQ and therefore also have a strong sense of knowledge on how to further your diversity inclusions practice within your organization for that particular community. So if you need those kind of referrals, I can be here for you. And just what I ask is that you sign up, you get your record started. You may not have everything all at once, just get it started. Okay, you can come back and edit your record at any time. So there's just a couple of things that are basic. Most things are filled in by default. So if you just have your company name, your logo, your website, and a company description, I think those are only 3 or 4 fields that are mandatory. Everything else could be defaulted, and then you could always come back and make it correct, more correct, and hone it as you go, as you get additional information from sources around the company, and do your own sleuthing on Google to find all the references about you. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has been an hour, and I do hope that this has been informative for you. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out and chat with me. I hope you've seen I'm a pretty approachable guy. Just for a warning, I do like to chat because I like to find out as much about you as possible, and I'd like you to know as much about me as possible. I'm not the boogeyman out here trying to make you look horrible. I actually want you to thrive and succeed and be a profitable, welcoming environment for your employees. And we shall see you on OutBüro, hopefully very soon. Take care.